Some mods can make a massive difference just by changing or adding one little thing, so let's take a look at 10 small mods that have a huge impact. This video is divided into chapters, so feel free to skip around and make yourself at home. Have you ever walked past an object and accidentally knocked it down, and then, being the good Samaritan that you are, tried to place it back the way it was, only to spend 20 minutes with the most frustrating fucking system? Well, thank Talos for Object Manipulation Overhaul, a mod that we all needed since 2011. With this mod, you can easily and confidently take an object and place it wherever or however you want. You can take both already interactable objects such as cauldron and food items and whatever, but also some other objects that you wouldn't be able to move otherwise, such as chairs and benches. You can select your object with the mouse wheel. Pressing the left mouse button will place the object in its new location, and the right button will cancel it. Holding control and moving the mouse will rotate the object horizontally, holding shift and moving the mouse will move it vertically, and pressing tab will reset the object's original orientation. Now what happens if you press Alt and F4? You should try it, apparently it gives you invincibility against Nazim. Reddit told me, so it must be true. The mod is honestly great, and you can redecorate any place in Skyrim as much as you'd like. You want to cook a warm meal but you don't want to miss out on any of the tavern gossip? You want to take a quick nap but you don't want to miss out on any of the tavern gossip? You want to make a wonderful piece of art but you don't want to... You get the point. You want to punish Heimsker for yapping non-stop about Talos? I mean, yes, I had way too much fun with this mod, but it just shows you how much you can do with it. So all you have to do is use your imagination, if you had any. Unlike an Azim level like Brianna, must have a negative IQ to let yourself be trapped like that. What's wrong with you? Before we get into our next mods, I would like to thank Instant Gaming for sponsoring this video, where you can get the latest games on PC or consoles for affordable prices. Now before you skip through this section, I want to ask you guys a question. How much do you think Fallout 4 goes for on Instant Gaming? Wrong, it's $4. What about arguably the best Assassin's Creed game? Wrong again, it's just under $3. I mean, dude, you can pre-order Kingdom Come Deliverance at 29% off. They got a very nice Trustpilot score of 4.7 and a 24/7 customer support, always there if you need help. They are not another marketplace and get their games directly from authorized resellers. So if you're looking to get yourself some cheap games, use my code in the description. It helps out the channel a lot and helps your wallet as well, so bookmark that link for whenever you want to buy a game, or you can buy one right now. Just pause this video and go there. And now let's keep going with the rest of the video. Next up we have Grab and Throw, another really cool object manipulation mod letting you pick stuff up, and by pressing F, you'll throw them forward, allowing you to have more fun with Nazim. And the best part is, there is no repercussion. Oh shit! Oh fuck, I was wrong! You can throw jugs, cups, frisbees, apple pies. It's honestly really fun just to take things and throw them at your enemies, not only injuring them, but straight up murder them in cold blood. I mean, you can play this whole game with no weapons since cauldrons apparently cause massive damage. But the real scope of this mod is to use these items, or any other items you may find in dungeons, to distract enemies while you're sneaking around. When you throw it against a wall or something, NPCs will typically go check what made that noise, giving you some time to get around. Now obviously you'll have to be better at this than I am, but since you understand the benefit, my job here is done. I don't need to be good at the game. Doesn't it annoy you when you're walking around a crowded area and more than one NPC talks to you and you can't seem to tell what either of them are saying? Well, with subtitles, you can actually have more than one subtitle line on the screen. The game will now keep the first subtitle on the screen until that NPC will stop talking, instead of removing it and replacing it with the latest thing that someone else says. I think it's a really nice quality of life addition, especially if you're trying to pay attention to what someone is saying, only to get rudely cut off by a random idiot telling you to pay attention to something. I think the most I've seen on the screen at once is 4 subtitles, which honestly, at that point, it's plenty enough. I can't even read 4 sentences without losing attention. TikTok ruined me. Who here does the mistake of selecting so many dialogue choices that you completely lose interest in what the NPC is saying and you completely lose track of the whole conversation? I mean, in Starfield, it got to such a point that while I was streaming the DLC, I had to put Subway Surfers on the screen just to keep the viewer's attention. Now, Skyrim's yapping problem is not nearly as bad, but it would be nice sometimes to just be able to get a reminder of what the person is saying, just so you can make better decisions. Introducing Dialogue History, yet another really good quality of life mod, giving you a list of all that was said. not only in your previous conversation, but also in the streets as you were walking around. So if an NPC says something that you totally missed, you can go here and see it, and you can also see when and where that thing was said. Another cool feature is that it also has a search bar, allowing you to search for a specific line or a specific NPC. To access this menu, all you need to do is press Shift and D. You can also press Control while you're still in the conversation to get a list of what was said before you pick an important dialogue option. I believe Baldur's Gate 3 had this feature and it was honestly so useful. Thank God for our modding overlords. Now I got another question for you. What do you think your character does when you go away from your computer and go to the washroom scrolling TikTok for a few hours? If you said nothing, the camera just spins around like a madman, then you are evil. If you think that trapping your character to this immovable body is the right thing to do, then you will be chained to the toilet where you're scrolling TikTok. And with Sandbox when idle, you'll have your character actually move a little bit, giving them that much needed freedom to just walk around and take a seat or something while you're away. It also removes the spinning camera and instead does a camera lock to wherever the player is going, which is very smooth and sometimes dizzying. I mean, don't look at the screen while you're walking around. You'll be able to wander, eat, and interact with some stuff, but not crafting furniture, and if you're in combat, sneaking, or on a mount, nothing will happen. One thing I want to mention is that it feels like this mod only works half of the time, since I had a few instances where my character was not doing anything for like 10 minutes straight, but as long as it works sometimes, I feel like it's adding a level of immersion that makes the game unpredictable, and gives your character a choice of whether they want to move or not. They're not forced to move, so freedom is good, guys. America. Now here's a cool one. We've been using fire as a tool in combat for ages, but never like this. Fire ignites arrows lets you take your knocked arrows and hover them over a fire that will make them light up and be used as fire arrows. Huh? I had no idea this could be done in Skyrim. The latest Assassin's Creed games do this, and I always thought it was super cool. I don't know how often you'll have fire sources available when you're shooting in Skyrim, but I like having this mod only because it's possible. I'll go out of my way to find a fire just to use this feature. It's especially useful in specific situations like when your enemy is stuck and you have direct access to fire, or when you're sneaking around and try to make as much damage as possible with only one arrow. If you happen to hold the fire for too long, the arrow will actually burn and you'll lose it, having to start over. It's honestly super fun to go around and take a new approach to combat, giving you another reason to play Skyrim as a stealth archer. You're welcome. Before going to the next mod, ask yourself, are you subscribed to this channel? And if not, why? If you couldn't find a reasonable answer within 2 seconds, I think it's time to hit subscribe and hit that like button, because why not? How many of you still play Skyrim in first person? I know I'm in a minority for playing in third person, but that's just what I prefer. But for the other 90% of you, I have first person interactions. You're probably familiar with the J-Serpa mod immersive interactions, having your character play some animations when they interact with certain objects. And if you wanted them in first person, you needed other mods such as improved camera. But if you don't want that mod because you prefer the vanilla camera, you were out of luck before. Until now. So first person interactions adds very minimal hand gestures for your character that you will make when interacting with things such as standing stones, shrines, this one is probably my favorite to be honest, puzzles, opening doors, and so on. Another really cool one is pickpocketing. Tickle tickle, tickle tickle. It's these little details honestly that Skyrim was missing and I hope will exist in the Elder Scrolls 6, if we live long enough to see that, and if people actually play it since Starfield. And if you thought that picking flowers like that in first person is cool, with dynamic looting and harvesting, your character will do the same thing in third person. These are new animations that has you actually pick up the item in your hand before storing it in your ass. It affects stuff like mushrooms, flowers, even crops. It's a really nice ad if you want to switch back and forth between first and third person, or if you're part of the 10%. What's the actual number? I really want to know, man. How do you prefer playing modded Skyrim? First person? Third person. Now you better answer that poll. Post editing the review here, these are not the numbers that I was expecting, but hey, the more you know. People often ask me why I like Skyrim more than other Bethesda games. They also ask me why I like Fallout 3 more than Fallout New Vegas, and the answer is the same. I just played it first. But a more real answer would be that I prefer the ambience and the vibe of Skyrim more than the other Elder Scrolls games. Same with Fallout 3 versus New Vegas, but please don't start a war in the comments. But I have for you a series of mods that will take that ambience and amplify it. Introducing Clofa's Sound Mods, an incredible series of high quality sounds for the game. Here's a new way to immerse yourself into the world and take it all in. So the mods include the sounds of towns and cities, adding sounds like people chattering, blacksmiths working, dogs barking and all. This adds the illusion that the cities are more populated even if they aren't. Then there's Volkihar's soundscape, amplifying that eerie feel of the vampire castle from the entrance to the guild hall and more. Then there's Nordic winds, adding violent wind sounds that differ from different areas in Skyrim. For example, the area outside of Whiterun will sound different from a coastline. And many more other goodies such as standing stones. Sound is very underrated when it comes to immersion, and I am guilty of overlooking it too. But it really does make a big impact, which is why these mods are in the video. Now, what do you wish Skyrim had more of? If you said beheadings, then I'll be with you on that one. I think in the vanilla game we have the opening one, and then the one in Solitude. And I think that's it. Well, with this memory framework, okay, before I move forward, like, I'm not a psychopath, guys. I'm just, this is the game. With this memory framework, you can now not only kill people who oppose you, but also send a clear message to whoever will find the bodies. Keep in mind that I'm not a psychopath. You will now be able to behead people seamlessly without having to unlock a perk or unlock a kill move or something. And it's not only limited to that, it also includes limbs. I mean, look, I have my own footage, but I will never be able to replicate Sebastian's gameplay, so here's a snippet of that. If that clip doesn't make you want to download this mod, I don't know what will. I've seen my fair share of gore mods. In fact, I even made a whole video dedicated to gore mods a few years ago, and this one is by far the most seamless, and it feels like it was part of the game to begin with, similar to how Fallout 4's gore worked. It's a pure joy to go through Skyrim's dungeons for the millionth time and with my katana and just slice through bandits like it's nothing. This mod is awesome. So what other mods would you suggest? Let me know in the comments, and what deals are you taking advantage of from instant gaming? And also, what did you have for lunch? Because I want to make sure you're healthy and not eating lunchly or some shit. A massive thank you to my Patreon supporters who continue to support more and more content here. Your name can also appear at the end of my videos, or you can be roasted to bits if you choose the Nazim Lover tier. Now click on this video if you want to see the best video ever, and click on this video if you want to see the bestest video ever. Alright? That's it. Click and leave me alone. But do bookmark that instant gaming link in the description.